Welcome to the Saints and Scriptures podcast. Today we learn from the Greek Synaxarion about Saint John Chrysostom, Archbishop of Constantinople, whom the Church commemorates on November 13th.
This great father and teacher of the Eastern Orthodox Church was born in Antioch in 347 AD. His father was General Secundus and his mother was Anthusa. He was orphaned at an early age and was raised by a then 20-year-old widow, who educated him in the best Christian manner. He was a brilliant mind and studied many sciences in Antioch, close to the then famous orator Libanius, but also in Athens, together with his beloved friend Basil. When he completed his studies, he returned to Antioch and withdrew to the desert for 5 years, where he practiced asceticism, praying and studying the Holy Scriptures. However, he fell ill and returned to Antioch, where he was ordained a deacon in 381, at the age of 34, by Meletius, Archbishop of Antioch. Later, he was ordained by Meletius' successor, Flavian, at the age of 40. During his priestly ministry, he developed all his spiritual gifts, fiery divine zeal, and unprecedented eloquence in his sermons. He stirred and shook the crowds of Antioch and deeply moved their souls. His fame reached the capital, and so, on December 15, 397, by a joint vote of King Arcadius and the clergy, he became Patriarch of Constantinople, something he himself had never sought. And from this position, Saint Chrysostom, among other things, was a strict ascetic and a skilled interpreter of the Holy Scriptures, as can be seen from his many writings. Approximately 804 of his sermons have been preserved. Perhaps the most recognizable work of Chrysostom is his Divine Liturgy, which we celebrate almost every Sunday. During his patriarchate, Saint Chrysostom was a relentless critic of all illegality and wickedness. However, this caused him to make formidable enemies, including the Empress Eudoxia, because he criticized her illegal actions. She, in collaboration with the then Patriarch of Alexandria, Theophilus, a wicked and irreverent man, convened an illegal synod of 36 bishops, all of whom were spiritually suspect and dissatisfied with the saint, in the village of Druce in Chalcedon, and succeeded in having the saint deposed and exiled to a village in Bithynia. However, this decision so enraged the crowds that Eudoxia herself was forced to recall him from exile and restore him to the throne with another synodal acquittal, 402. But a little later, this impious empress managed to exile the saint again, June 20, 404, to Kukuz in Armenia and from there to Comana, where, after many hardships and other tribulations, he died in 407 AD. Saint Chrysostom was and is recognized as the most excellent and popular teacher of the Christian Church. No one explained the meanings of the divine scriptures with such richness and clarity as he did, nor was there anyone comparable to him in his readiness, simplicity, and the passion and power of his rhetoric. He was a remarkable orator, an unparalleled writer, profound and penetrating, a psychologist and an amazing sociologist with a sense of Christian equality, without privilege, with universal brotherhood. He belongs to those who appear as lights in the world. That is, like bright stars in the world. Saint Chrysostom died on September 14, but because of the feast of the exaltation of the Holy Cross, the feast of his memory was moved to November 13. We also celebrate his ordination as Patriarch of Constantinople on December 15, the transfer of his relics on January 27, and on January 30 together with Saint Basil and Saint Gregory the theologian. Finally, on February 26, we celebrate the memory of his ordination as a presbyter.
Thank you for listening to the Saints and Scriptures podcast. If you enjoy this content, you may subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast content.